Dating.
Yeah.
Do you get asked to talk about that a lot? Do dudes try you? Let's get crazy. Okay, let's take it there. I know a lot of the emphasis in churches is trying to get people to get married as soon as possible and almost think something's wrong with you if you haven't gotten married yet, which is backfired horribly. But how do you think about it?
You know, I have not been asked that more than I have this year. I don't know if it's just because of my age now that everybody wants to talk about it, but I am like, y'all really are in my business now. I'm like, it was just never talked about. So it's being asked a lot more now, but I'm so glad because I love talking about it. And I never dated in high school, never dated even up until now. I've never dated before. My parents raised me where I wasn't allowed to date, but I think God gave me a grace in that season to not push back or rebel or fight back. My friends would ask me, be like, well, why can't you date? My parents would allow me, but I agree with them. Yes. I agree. Odd child. Why would you say that? I agree with my parents, but I never did. And my parents helped me to, again, which is, you'll hear me talk about my parents, my father. They've played a huge role in my life whole time.
Give me that grace with my kids.
Yes, in the name of Jesus. But they helped me to even understand that dating is for marriage. And I've been sharing this, I literally shared this today with someone else, that dating is for marriage. And when you date without the intention for marriage, either three things will happen. You will either, number one, just play around and get your heart broken. Number two, you'll compromise and you'll fall into sin. Number three, you'll expedite everything and now you're going to get married because either you have fallen or because we just can't wait anymore. We need to get married, but it might not have been the season for that. And so I was not in high school in a season for marriage. I am not currently in a season for marriage I'm very focused on what God has me doing. And I understand, like we just said about a woman in this space, for a woman, it's very different when you get married versus when a man gets married, you become a wife and a mother. And I understand that. And I'm excited for when that day comes, but I know that that's a season in and of itself that I want to give my time to. And I know that this season, God has me doing what he's called me to do right now. Yeah. And so I have had to really, like I've said, consecrate myself to the Lord and just say, I'm not going to pursue that right now. Yeah. Like I said, I love talking about that because it's like, again, it's possible. Yes. It's possible to not. And so, when I travel, people ask me that a lot more now. I mean, they see that I'm a single sister. And so thankfully, because I have a great team that comes with me, I don't have a lot of guys that push in. I hope Mr. Right does, though, when he comes. I'm going to need him to be very clear. So, don't expect me to, come from around my merch table and be like, hi, I think that's not going to happen, buddy. I'm going to need you to come along. But yeah, that's kind of been my story with it, and I'm grateful for the season that God has me in. But that's what I believe about dating. So even with our youth group, we encourage our young people to not date at a young age and to wait for when you're ready for marriage, so that way you can first find who you are, find what God has called you to do, and then be ready for that season of marriage when you're ready to date, so that way it can work out the way that God intends for it to work out.